Okay.
Hello, hello, my lovely audience. I just recently changed the name of this group to the Conscious Creative Collective for Soulpreneurs on the Rise. So welcome everybody, and I'm welcoming today my lovely former client, just graduated the Conscious Creative Business Immersion. Niv has created a signature offering that is so amazing. She's been around the block offering beautiful services to people from around the world. International sensation, I like to say. Her reels were a real big hit during our program. All of the clients were looking to Niv to check out her Instagram and see her powerful content. But during our time together, she really formulated the ultimate program, the Embodied Ayurveda certification program. So, welcome everybody to the show. This is Niv. I'd love for you to introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about your story and your journey today.
Hey, hello everyone. Thank you for checking in, or people who listen to the podcast later. Later. Hey, I'm Niv. I am an Ayurvedic clinical practitioner. I'm a health coach. I'm a pranayam and yoga practitioner and educator. Educator all around. Educator, facilitator, and I am Indian, but like Christina said, I have been working across the world, and my clients and my students check in from across the world. So this is what really gives me a leg up in my work, I think, is because I'm really rooted in the tradition of Ayurveda from a really authentic and traditional way. But I can also really understand the various backgrounds that people are checking in from, because I've lived in Sydney, I've lived in the Bay Area, I've lived in Colombia. So I'm really in tuned with the different ways in which this practice materializes, moves through people, how it can be integrated, and really connect on that deeper, compassionate level. So that's been a really beautiful part of this work. Um, and I've been doing this for a while now, actually. I've been studying and practicing yoga and pranayama for many years, and Ayurveda more formally for a few years. But it was always infused into the other things that I was doing. I never allowed myself to imagine that it could be at the forefront. That was like a faraway dream, you know? It was like, oh, these are my spiritual practices. This is what I am devoted to. This is what I return to. These are the texts that I study, the scriptures that uh, are feeling brilliant and bright through me, that allow for me to do all this other work in the midst of craziness and chaos, with a kind of ease that is pretty unmatched, to be quite honest. But I never imagined that it could be at the forefront till last year, actually, when I was in the middle of a Vipassana meditation, and God was like, Niv, you've been studying and learning for so long. You are being a little bit selfish. Like, you are being a little bit selfish. So it doesn't need to be perfect. You don't need to be a Swamiji in order to guide people. There's something about you that is natural leadership. And even in that Vipassana, on the last day, people came to me and were like, do you practice yoga? Are you a teacher? And we are all in silence in that in the Vipassana for 10 days. We're all in silence. I'm not even smiling at anyone. I'm not even looking at anyone, no eye contact. And I was like, wow, this is affirmation that even just energetically, people are looking to me for some reason. And if that's my karma, if that's my dharma, then I need to follow it with a pure heart and show up without fear. And I just started my Instagram. I started sharing everything that I had been practicing, and allowed all the other work that I had done prior, whether it was as a social practice artist, as a video maker, as a corporate baddie, all of those skills to be integrated into what became my baby, which is your health compass. So that's the Instagram platform that I use to disseminate education and knowledge, your health compass. And then some point through the journey, I met Christina, and I was like, okay, let's go. Let's do this. So
I
yeah.
love that so much because what I'm hearing is that we get to a certain place on our own. We're the type of women, and for those people out there who are self-starters, who are strong, who are powerful, who know that they can do and accomplish great things, we start to get this nudge energetically. What I'm hearing is that you are getting the reflection from the universe, from the fractals of the universe that are the other people around, that they can feel, and they could feel that they wanted to learn from you, they wanted to study with you, and they didn't even know what you taught yet. And so
Yeah.
you went on this journey of figuring it out. Well, how do I put together an Instagram? How do I start sharing my voice? And then this is the point that usually people meet me is like, how do we really put it together in our life's work, in the masterpiece that is a signature offering that we want to get known for, that we want to get the process trademarked, that we want to really bring to the forefront and create a career out of. And what I really love about the offer that you created is it encompasses that piece of you as well. When you said corporate baddie, I was just like laughing over here because I'm sure that there are so many of your potential clients that are moving away from the corporate baddie world and they know that they're badasses, they know they can make money, but they want to serve the world in a deeper way. They want to bring forth the gifts, the ancient wisdom that you have, that you've learned, that you've carried. I sat at the foot of a Swamiji as well. And I wanted to also reflect that that's so interesting that you said that because of course I loved my Swamiji. Of course I respect and revered my Swamiji. But when it came down to learning how to put myself out there on the internet and how to build a career out of this ancient wisdom that was now channeling through me, the Swamiji wasn't going to teach me that. but you do. But you carry both the corporate baddie and the expressionist, this woman who shares her voice potently, and the gifts to the ancient wisdom as well that we so lucky to have been taught and receive and must pass on. That is the Dharma. So I wanted to ask and speak to a little bit about this focus of Dharma. And if you would like to download us with the keys, the Dharma codes, if you have any.
Yeah, I mean, so in Hindu tradition, as people don't already know, there are four primary purposes of a human to pursue. There are four primary things that we are here to pursue. The first, I mean, not in order, but these are the four. Artha, which is wealth, financial security, stability, abundance, being able to pass that abundance down to future generations, to make sure that we are not in survival mode, but that we can thrive, that we can grow, that we can create more vitality through wealth. The second is kama, which is pleasure, which is enjoying the beauty that this world has to offer, enjoying intimacies, enjoying flavor, enjoying nature, enjoying whatever it is that brings you deep sensorial joy and pleasure. And now let me just, premise this by saying, in our current human society, people do not have a problem pursuing artha and kama. That they do. Everyone is pursuing money and everyone's
Yeah.
pursuing pleasure. Yeah, there's no, doubt about how moving there. But this third piece is what gets lost. And this third piece is what is so important for me in what I teach, how I work, how I live my life, my ethics. It is dharma. Dharma is living in accordance to divine law. What is your mission here? Understand that whatever your mission here is, it ripples outwards and it affects all beings on this planet. So if your artha and your kama is not cradled in dharma, then you are lost and society is lost. So this third piece is integral, is really understanding, what was I born here to do? What are my true skills, gifts, talents, and how can this uplift humanity? Even if it's in a simple task, by recognizing that and being fully devoted to it, you make that simple task sacred. In understanding that the simple task has implications in the way in which other people live life, even if it's just being a good friend, showing up with warmth and honesty to your loved ones, that could be your dharma. Being a caretaker to your grandparents, being a good caretaker to your children, breaking generational patterns, that could be your dharma. So it doesn't need to be something, larger than life, but it needs to be at the forefront, because otherwise you are going to be so caught up in material pursuits and pleasure that comes at the cost of our interdependent, intertwined human and non-human web of life. So this is dharma. And the fourth is moksha, which is liberation, which can come later, which can be when you've decided, okay, you're done. You've done what you needed to. Now you can sit at the cave and you can go in your little eco house and just tend to your plants, pray, and you've lived an honest and good life. But this dharma aspect is, like I said, really understanding, what are my ethics? What are the divine laws? The divine law is interdependence. The divine law is that we are all deeply intertwined. We are all material manifestations of cosmic intelligence. And if we are not honoring that, then we are lost. So for me, this is very important. It ensures that it actually helps me from getting stressed out about this whole project, because I'm like, I'm in my dharma. I'm serving. And that's what the universe wanted of me. So whether I get that launch to be, whatever number, or whether people see my reel or not, that one person who sees it, I'm showing up for you. And if you don't see it, I'm showing up for God. So I'm at peace with that. And then the rest follows.
Ah, I'm still getting cradled by Dharma. When you said that, and I was like, oh, what a beautiful transmission. Thank you so much for your sermon. Oh my goodness, I want into your program. What you just spoke to is so beautiful, because I often would say during our program, during the Conscious Creative Business Immersion, like, y'all can't mess this up. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
You really can't.
Yeah.
And if like, okay, if we have the goal of, being abundant, and we have a number that represents that abundance, whether it's a 6-figure year, whether it's a 5-figure launch, whether it's a $1 million company, it's no problem to create those goals. But if we had a lifetime to become that millionaire that we are destined to become, the big-hearted millionaire that can spread the wealth around the world, then what steps would we take now? Because that's what's important. What steps that are aligned with our truth, our purpose, our dharma, this we can't mess up. So we can't make a post that's going to break our business. We can't share a reel that is going to repel the right people. And so what you just spoke to is so beautiful. It's the cornerstone of my work, and I'm so happy to have and honored to have coached you, and in that alignment of it being the cornerstone of your work. And so I'm guessing, and I remember when you first came to the program, you had some beautiful programs out already that were around personal health and personal development. And so was it this Dharma piece, or what was it that invited you to really help people with their careers now, and really help people to live more in their Dharma and serve in this, get certified in Ayurveda, and be able to serve humanity in those gifts? You want to speak a little bit about that?
Yeah. So when I met you, I had 3 separate offerings that were already high value offerings at the time. So one was a group coaching container that I had already put out I think 2 times or 3 times. Then there was the one-on-one inner alignment mentorship, where I take people through 12 weeks of really guided, in-depth Ayurvedic, spiritual, yogic coaching to deal with whatever they are moving through on a mind, body, soul, health level, to really see them transform and up level their personal wellness and emotional well-being and physical well-being. And then there was the third, which was coaching, certifying people to be Ayurvedic health coaches themselves. And I recognized that I was good at all three, because on a one-on-one level, this is where, Ayurvedic clinical consultation is very powerful, because it's not a one-size-fits-all method. It's a very tailor-made, personalized, holistic plan system, and we move through it week by week. Things evolve, things change. So that's where my skills in Ayurvedic training come in very specifically. And then group coaching, because I've been a workshop facilitator for so many years, holding space for people, really having them connect intimately and vulnerably with one another, share openly, feel held by a collective, is also a very strong point for me. So that was something that I knew that I had to do. And then the third final piece was, I am an educator. I am a teacher. And this is rare. You don't often find Ayurvedic doctors who are actually good at explaining the ins and outs of Ayurveda. And you don't find teachers who are also Ayurvedic practitioners, right? So I was like, okay, I have to teach it, because if there are people that are genuinely curious and I get to create an intimate learning container for them, which is rare, even in the programs that I enrolled in to learn Ayurveda, they were larger class sizes. The teachers were hit or miss. You don't necessarily connect deeply with the teacher, but you're receiving a lecture, you're receiving knowledge. That's fine. But to have a teacher who you feel inspired by, who really is in their truth, that you're like, oh, you're not just teaching me this, you are living this, and I can feel it. So that was a third way I was showing up. And then I was like, I think it was after our first call with each other, you were like, Niv, if you love the group coaching part so much, because that was a time when I was just going to launch a round of the certification program, and I wasn't going to do the group coaching anymore. And you were like, Niv, if you love the group coaching so much, why don't you just integrate it? Like, why don't you just make it a part of your certification program? And I was like, yeah, actually, that's right. And you know what? Like, I had already enrolled everyone, and then I just messaged them saying, bonus for you guys, like, you're going to get, 8 more weeks of me, and we're going to meet more regularly and more intimately. And they were just like thrilled. And, because I had already, enrolled people and charged people. And I was just happy to offer it, because you were right, Christina. It brings me joy. It brings me joy to be able to show up for people in that way and hold space in that way. So I'm so glad that I did that. And that's the ongoing iteration of the Embodied Ayurveda certification program. I'm currently I think we're on the 12th week. It's had both group coaching as well as group lectures and seminars, and all that good stuff. And then for the next round, I was like, well, what I'm seeing is that this would be so much more powerful if the people that I'm teaching had actually moved through the one-on-one consulting and coaching part with me, so that they could, because, everyone has their individual health issues. And unfortunately, in a group setting, there's only so much you can tend to. And I still tend to a lot, because people have 24/7 access to me on WhatsApp. They're sending voice notes. Niv, this came up, Niv, that came up. And I'm, trying as much as possible to coach them through it. But I recognize, like, oof, if I had additional access to you, once a week. Like if you had committed to that and you knew that that was a part of the course, you had to show up for that, how much more powerful would this process have been? And when I started to research and look into it, I was like, I don't know of a single Ayurvedic program out there where people are not only receiving the training and the certification, but also one-on-one personal back pocket access to their teacher slash doctor. And that faith, that embodiment is what's going to really give them the deeper insight on how to coach their people through it. So now in the current, the next iteration, which is in Jan 2024, we begin in Jan 2024. I'm enrolling students right now. I've opened applications, the launch process is ongoing. So in this one, it's very clear that what you're signing up for is both, it's all three. You're getting group coaching, you're getting one-on-one coaching, and you're getting training. So that's what's going on.
Oh, that's so much beauty going on. What I want to speak to, so much was coming through when you were speaking, because this is such a powerful program. And for those people out there listening and watching this transmission, so many people think that their business is their social media or their business is just their marketing. And while a large part of my programs and offerings focus on marketing in heart-centered ways and selling in ways that feel good, the selling and the marketing feels great when you're in love with your offer. So that's why in my program, we focus intentionally on this high value offer. How do we package it? How do we position it? And so, like, it's been such an honor to work with you and all of my clients because you all have come to me, yes, to launch things out into the world and to, have your own mindset checked and to have a sounding board and to up level in ways that you didn't think were possible. But I mean, you knew they were possible, but like these little tweaks that we're making, like this is best done with support. And so, because you were being supported so intentionally to have this time and space to really think about what is best for your people, what brings you joy, then the marketing and the selling just becomes an extension of that. So I wanted to speak to that for a moment because that's the one thing we got to work on was like you're in total conviction around what you want to do. You are the CEO, and that I knew. And there was like you were coming up with ideas and I was supporting those ideas and offering, next level advice. And then what we got to work on was how does now the content match that? And you ask such the best questions in the container of like, is it is this next level idea and offering that I'm birthing that is being put out in 2024, and you give yourself time and space to really intentionally design the offer and up level it and refine the offers you already had and combine them and just make this ultimate masterpiece. What was it like for you to then raise your content to that level and speak to the things in your offering that we're going to attract that next level client for you as well? Was there any wobbles? What was that process like for you?
Yeah, I think there was definitely, because coming into this, it was so much about, I want to make sure that my content is very educational, is very informative, is really practical, is really useful. And, the work of Ayurveda is a work of devotion. It's a work of humility. It's a work of like just daily love. And my content was so much about that, is like how to transmit that energy in a really honest, truthful, integral place, but make it feel also, make it reflect all of the different parts of me. make it reflect my playfulness as well, make it reflect my seriousness as well. Because finally people are working with me and they need to resonate with me deeply. So this was kind of like the general vibe and intention behind my content for the longest time. Then I took your resonance marketing course, right? Your resonance course. So that was like not a live thing that Christina had up. And there it was like, okay, be more tangible, be more specific, because you want people to be reaching out to you. You don't want people, like, if you're really building this, it's not just your hobby, then you want people to be like, Niv, I want to work with you. So keep doing what you're doing, but just change the language a little bit. So again, I'm like, okay, this is just fine tuning. We're still showing up in integrity. We're still showing up in honesty. We're still showing up with humility and education, but we're fine tuning our wording. This is very important. And then when I started working with you live, it became, it's okay to, now that you've had time and you've worked in different containers, you've disseminated 2 or 3 group coaching, programs, you've worked one-on-one with people, who are you really, really feeling like you want to call in? Who is it? What kind of energy do they hold? What kind of missions do they have? What kind of commitments do they come with, right? Because if you really want the medicine of Ayurveda to be transmitted and to be embodied, then you need to have a certain mindset. You need to have a certain quality of heart. You need to have a certain ethics. And then it became about, wow, okay, now I need to be even more specific to make sure that I am speaking to those leaders. Because it's no point if you sign up for my course at a whim and you pay me in full even, but then you halfway through lose steam, because I'm not in control of you, right? I can inspire you and guide you, but you need to have that inner love and devotion. And I'm not going to feel good about it. So it's not about the money then. It really is about, I want this wisdom to be transmitted through those people who have the expansiveness and the vision and the love to hold it. So now I need to speak to those people. I need to speak to the people that are seeking truly to level up their wellness practices and profession. People who might already have some knowledge about Ayurveda. So this meant for me that I needed to stop being so general and start being more precise. And this was a bit difficult for me because it made me feel like, well, what about all the rest of the people that, like, what about, and it was just about finding a balance. It was just about finding a balance and saying you can do both, but know which one you're doing when. And then the other part was there were some blocks, of course, with, just really directly letting people know that this is my program and this is what I'm doing. I mean, I had already done it, obviously, because I had been enrolling students and clients, but not with the same type of boldness and courage and consistency that I have seen other people do. And I just had to kind of release it and be like, Niv, there's like, where did you get this like weird idea that literally letting people know of this incredible program that is so intelligently designed and brought with so much love, and it's the wisdom of Ayurveda and yoga. You don't get, it's just like so high level. Where did you get this idea that letting people know about it could make you feel like or like no? What's going on there? So that was also just a block of being like, you know what, you are in, like in Christina's words, you're an icon. This is your legacy. You're doing this from a place of love and truth. You don't need to question that. Like that's there. So now move through those other blocks, um and then the third piece is like when you do move through those other blocks, don't get too attached to it because it's a lot of work, of course. It's a lot of releasing. But I found myself in some moments getting a bit serious about it, you know? And I was like, Niv, you don't need to get too serious. It's work and it is serious. And at the same time, it's not defining who you are. You know, still be playful, still throw in whatever. It doesn't always need to be savvy, you know, it's okay. So yeah, those were some pieces.
Oh, wow. I know that you're inspiring so many people listening. And this is the joy of the work that we both get to do, and most coaches do. Is like my favorite part of this journey is watching powerful, wise, intelligent women and men own that power. And, when we are corporate baddies or when we are going out there sharing and speaking and creating content, there's a part of us that it's like, I am owning it. Of course I am. But there's also sometimes this little voice that comes in and diminishes. Oh, is that too much? Is that piece too much?
Mm-hmm.
Or what am I going to scare people away if I'm
Mm-hmm.
so speaking directly to who I would really enjoy working with the most? Am I going to exclude people? Am I going to lose followers? And these voices, even if they're not loud, they still might be there. And so those vulnerable moments of when we're actually sharing that, or when we're actually underselling, and your coach comes in and says like, I know that you think that you're selling really powerfully because you're going out there every day and you're being consistent, but there is always an up level. And I love people who appreciate that, of like, I'm a double Virgo when it comes to my work, and sometimes that can be annoying. But like when people are like want to do better, then the only coach that they can hire is someone that helps them do better, even when they're already doing great. Like nobody's coming into my program like crawling through the muck. Sometimes, I mean, sometimes we have things come up in our life that there's no, I'm not coaching saying, hey, do better. Like your dog just passed away, like you can do better. It's like, no, those are the moments that we sink into the reality of life. And we're so grateful that we're in this experience together, because those are
Yeah.
the moments that would have us quit. But I really loved how in every moment for you, it was like, yeah, I got my shoulder hurts, but I have the tools for this, like I'm an Ayurvedic embodied practitioner. So this is gonna, I'm good on that. I'm gonna move through that, and I'm gonna keep on
Right.
going, because this is your work in the
Yeah.
world to heal yourself, to release, but able to do it. You are always able to do it in a fun way of not taking even pain in the body that seriously, because you are the master at teaching people how to move through that. So maybe
Yeah.
speaking to that for a moment, of what would you say to someone that feels like they don't have time to join your program or mine, or they don't
Mhm.
have, they're not in a perfect place, or they don't have the money, or the all the big savings account, or whatever it is that they're saying is preventing them from going all in on themselves and being surrounded by other humans who are going to raise the bar for them. What would you say to them after going through that yourself, and actually you being the bar raiser in most circumstances? How would you describe an offering like yours or mine to people who don't really know what it's like to be together in a program like ours?
Mm, yeah, right. I mean, it is very stretching to the mind. Let's put it that way. It's very stretching to the mind. Like it really breaks open blocks that then domino effect break open all these other blocks that you didn't know were existing within you. And I think it's all rooted in our collective state of a scarcity mindset. right? The scarcity mindset, like, in all spectrums of life, the feeling like I don't have enough, or I'm not enough, or it's not enough, or even if I joined, I don't trust myself. I don't think I'd be able to make good use of it, or I'm not in the right place to make good use of it, right? A lot of people say that. And I think there's so many layers to walking through scarcity mindset. It's a spiritual practice. It takes a deep level of looking inside, connecting to your wholeness, connecting to the abundance, understanding what cosmic intelligence is, and the fact that it literally shines through you, that you have unending amounts of pranic life force pulsating through your body. This is like, you have to go deep and really figure out, where did you get this programming that you didn't have enough? Where did you get this programming that the resources were limited? Or where did you get this programming that it wasn't for you? And you're just like scratching at random things to, go into like more scarcity mindset. Where is all of this coming from? So I think a lot of that work, honestly, some part of that work needs to have been done to some extent, because again, for a program like yours or mine, you cannot be coming into it already in a hesitation of what is it going to do, because there's no way it's going to work like that. You have to come in, step in with full faith, with full belief, with full, like, this is it, I'm here for the journey from start to finish, and shit's going to come up, life's going to throw me 360. The seasons are a mess, it's eclipse season, but I'm going to show up the best I can, and it's going to come to something. But that scarcity mindset, it takes a lot of work. But I do know that even just, and this is what you would say, and I felt it too very viscerally in my own being, and I see it happen with clients, the moment you make that first step to own that something could be yours, take the help you need. Like, you offer payment plans sometimes. I offer tailor-made payment plans for select students whom I can see are there for it, but need that extra support. I've been there, but I want to see your heart. I want to feel it. But when you make that choice and that decision, and just the act of committing and investing, that process already unlocks things within you that you didn't know were stagnant within you, on all levels: professional, personal, health, romantic, right? Because now you've decided you are worth it. You are worth that investment. And if you are worth that investment, you are worth the health. You are worth the well-being. You are worth the professional success you wanted. So I felt that when I committed to your program, like a year ago, I don't think I would have imagined that. Like, I was with a guy who had a problem paying $100 for rent. So I was like, like 50, everything was so closed in and okay. And then I decided, my heart is open, my mind is open, my life is open, my soul has been everywhere and back. The only thing is, this material body can't see it, but I can imagine it. And I think within a week of just speaking to you and investing in the program, I made my money back.
Wow. I didn't even know that. Wow. It's so fun to talk about money sometimes. Wow, I'm just like, I'm learning so much. I should be taking notes. I'm glad we're recording this. This is so good. And thank you for this interview because, and it's not like you just jumped right in. I want everybody to know that as well. Like, sales is a service. And I had a few conversations with Niv, but
Yes,
once she was decided. And that's what you're speaking to. And that's a skill that I teach in sales is like, one, we can't, where people are going to interact with our programs the way that we interact with other programs. So if we're not fully showing up or we're not feeling worth the coaching, or we're not, going all in, it doesn't mean pay in full. You paid in full, but it doesn't mean pay in full. It could be payment plans if you're there. I've been there as well. But it's more of the energy of I'm all in. And that was, after a couple of conversations, she wasn't, she didn't need a lot of hand holding or like convincing at all. But that's the heart-centered sales that I teach is like, I am willing to feel your heart, to talk to you, I mean, I look at my clients' content and I'm like, oh, I'm going to help this person. This is going to be fun. And so I don't give up on my potential clients or let them hold on to their excuses. And so, not that you had many, but after a few conversations, you weren't just in, you were all the way in. You were traveling, but you showed up. You were moving there, you were moving there, you showed up. It was dark sometimes. I don't know what time it was, but you were there. And you also asked the questions. You also handed in the soul work for creative review. And that's the difference between someone who, you know, gets their investment back in a week and someone who kind of just is like, oh, I'm trying it out. And that's why I don't put out cheap programs. I mean, I do, but they're self-paced. Like they're self-paced. Why not have this program? But when we're like giving our wisdom and coaching and guidance and creative feed forward, that's a different level. And that's the level that both you and I are most fulfilled in. Now,
yeah,
I know we're coming to time, so I want to give the audience an opportunity to hear about your beautiful offers and the podcast you dropped so that they can stay in your world. I know that they're going to want to keep learning from you and hearing from you. So, why don't you let the audience know how they can get in touch with you, how they can listen to your podcast, and if they're ready for the Embodied Ayurveda certification? In 2024 or beyond, but don't wait. Waiting's not the vibe. Don't wait for her to drop it again. Say, oh, when are you doing it next time? But like, let us know how they can get involved in one of your programs.
yeah, definitely. So, for any of you I think probably everyone listening to this already knows what Ayurveda is, but in case there was some, misconception or little bits of gap, Ayurveda is a 3 to 5,000 year old life science, medicinal life science that originates out of the land of India, but it is a universal life science, meaning that it is based on the laws of nature. And the laws of nature are the truth. They do not change, they haven't changed. What has changed is the context within which we live. What has changed are the types of environments that we engage with. But the beautiful thing is that because Ayurveda is all principles and wisdom and insight, it can be applied to different humans, different beings, different backgrounds, different environments, different countries. And obviously, there is an incredible intelligence to it because it has lasted thousands of years and it's still practiced. It's mind, body, wellness. I personally don't know a wellness science. If I would forget modern nutritional science, it comes nowhere close. But even in traditional ancient sciences, Ayurveda is recorded, it's practiced. There are people that study it, teach it, update it constantly. So it's incredibly potent, it's incredibly transformative, and it's for everyone, anywhere, regardless of circumstance. So this is the science and the wisdom that I teach and that I embody and I practice, and it has brought me and my loved ones and my students incredible amounts of ease and awareness. And I'm not even living life on your same level, like for most people, because it's so tuned in. And if you have a practice of yoga or pranayama, then this is sister science. This just takes it to the next level. I do have a practice of yoga and pranayama. So for me, all three with meditation become this beautiful cradle, since we like that word, beautiful cradle within which I exist in. So this is what I teach on, what I educate. The Embodied Ayurveda podcast is high-level, comprehensive Ayurvedic and yogic insights, and really for those people that are truly here to level up their wellness practices and professions. You're here because you know that that's where abundance and prosperity lies. You want to integrate protocols in a very intelligent way, and you want to be able to bring it to your loved ones and your clients and your students coherently. I'm dropping so many gems on this podcast for free. You just have to type it out, the Embodied Ayurveda podcast. It's there up on YouTube. It's there on Spotify. It's there on Apple Podcasts. So do give it a listen. It's a really nice way for me to bring through knowledge that isn't like the real format, which is like three quick tips for your, like 3 tips for this and that, which is beautiful for like quick info. But the podcast each episode is about 10 to 20 minutes long. So it isn't very long, but you just get a beautiful deep dive. And there's already about 10 or 11 podcast episodes out, I think. So there's enough juice for you to get your hands dirty in. And the certification course, the Embodied Ayurveda certification course, is all my love and my practices and my training and my years of investment brought to you in this beautiful, intimate container where I take you step by step through all that you need to know to bring your people high-level Ayurvedic counseling and support. So you will be learning how to assess someone's unique mind-body situation, constitution, their blueprint, and depending on what imbalances are moving through them, you can guide them a tailor-made food, lifestyle, spiritual, herbal protocol and plan. And be supported through this process because there's group coaching and there is one-on-one coaching. So you and me will be meeting for 12 weeks one-on-one, where you will actually go through that process with me, and you'll get to receive that high quality coaching and know what it's like to actually receive it and move through it. And that faith is what's going to make your coaching and you showing up for your people that much more potent. So we start in Jan 2024. Exactly when is depending on the group, and it's a very, very small, very intimate group. And what else can I tell you about? Yeah, you can find it on my website. I'm sure Christina will drop the links. But the really important thing to know in this certification program is I am at your beck and call. Like, I am here for you. I want you to feel totally supported and held and trained by me on a very intimate, compassionate level. So it's, of course, incredible technical information that you're receiving because it's authentic, traditional Ayurveda that you will be learning, all the principles for wellness and lifestyle counseling. But you are also receiving this energetic transmission of someone who is loving you, wanting to see you shine, wanting to support you on all levels, guiding you through that, there for you on WhatsApp. So this is a very special part of it, in my opinion, because we can all, read or take some large group classes and blah, blah, blah. But embodying it, you need someone you resonate with deeply. This is my experience. So if you feel that from me and you connect with me, definitely let's be in touch. So yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for that powerful offering. I've been so just honored to watch you grow, to be in the presence of someone who moves like you do. And I know that I'm inspired by my clients, but I've been personally inspired by you, the way that you receive coaching, flip it on its head, integrate it, apply it, and birth a program like yours. And I'm sure my audience, anyone in my audience who's desiring to deepen in their Ayurvedic practices for themselves, but also spread that knowledge with the world and they're resonating with Niv, like, let's go. You can reach out to me, but also I'll have the links in every place that this beautiful transmission has landed. I hope that anybody listening has been inspired by two brown baddies. If you can't see us, you can only hear us on the podcast. Two brown baddies making it in the world. And I just wanted to say that as well and end on that note.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Niv. And I will talk to you so soon. Any final words for our guests today?
No final words. Thank you. Thank you, Christina. You've been such an integral part of this journey. And, you know, it's in sometimes it's just in the subtle things that you drop that are like, oh, right, that. And I feel tangibly, and I know you feel it too, the shift in how I'm showing up just, from a couple of months ago to now. I feel it really in my body, like, so thank you. And for anyone who's considering your program, know that if you are ready to show up and really receive, Christina's got you.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much, Niv. I'm sure I'll have you back on this podcast. Well, because you talked me right up. Yes, I'd love to have you as a reoccurring guest. And so I'll be reaching out. Keep in touch. Let me know how this launch goes. And yeah, talk to you so soon.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.